Hi, everybody. I'm here with Stephen Jacquier. He is an ITT graduate. He graduated from our first ITT program. And we're happy to have you with us here today, Stephen, to talk about your journey through ITT and through your life within ITT. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So let's start at the beginning. When you first heard about ITT and first understood what it was about, what were your thoughts? Were you immediately attracted to it? Did you have some trepidation? What came up for you?
Well, I just completed doing Triton Leadership's Odyssey workshop. And so I was looking for what's next after that. And this seemed like the logical place to go for what's next, following on that really good experience. I was looking forward to it with enthusiasm.
All right, that's what we like to hear.
Also, a couple of the people that I had done the Odyssey workshop with, during the workshop, we had gotten excited with each other, and because we were aware that ITT was coming up, we had said, "Are you going to do it? I'm going to do it. Are you going to do it?" And so it was a chance to see friends that I had established through that workshop again, and connect at a deeper level with them.
Yeah, perfect. Did you have any obstacles come up for you at all as you jumped in? I don't know whether it be financial concerns or family concerns or scheduling, anything like that?
I've been very fortunate in my life to I think primarily as a result of having done similar processes, similar learning experiences back in my youth, to not be fettered by a sense of lack and limitation around finances. And so that was pretty much transparent, convincing my spouse on the other hand that there was no lack and limitation to spend money to go ahead and do something like that. It was slightly different, and yet it was I got full support to go ahead and do that. It was something my spouse chose not to do. Different agenda, different interests. That's fine, but it was supportive of me going ahead and doing it and spending the money on myself. It's a really cheap tuition for what you get, frankly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right, great. And when you went into ITT, I get it that you just have kind of natural curiosity and you were excited about connecting with your new friends on a deeper level. Did you have some, let's say, issue or area of your life that you particularly wanted to work on when you went into ITT, or did something maybe reveal itself to you early on in ITT that you wanted to address?
Well, that's a good question, because even though we did not do a sort of checklist of items, at least not that I recall. If we did, I've forgotten about it. What I did have a couple of items in mind, and as it turned out, as time passed, I discovered that those weren't really the issues that I wanted to work on. That what was getting in the way was something that I didn't know that I didn't know. And through the process of our ITT journey together, especially working with the small group, of course, that it's a dance, going back and forth between the sessions that we have with you and with Landon, and reading the books, and talking with my buddy, a fantastic fellow down in Peru, and the really powerful gals. He and I, our counterpoint in our small group, a gal in New York and a gal in Boulder, Colorado, both of whom run their own companies, are tremendously powerful people, loving mothers and spouses. And so it was fantastic waltz with all the different moving parts. And it was largely through working with my small group and my buddy that I became clear as we were going along that what I had thought I wanted to work on was really sort of, not it. It was other things altogether. And I'm not sure exactly how, and it probably isn't even really important, because in transformation, sometimes, the understanding, the intellectual understanding of how it all happens is not as important as the shift has happened. The transformation itself has happened. And just last night, we had a family meeting. I live in a multi-generational household with my spouse and I, the grandparents, our daughter and her son-in-law, and our small grandchildren, all under one roof here together, sort of like the Waltons in Alaska at its best. and during this whole period of the COVID-19 quarantine, I mean, we had thought that we were going to be gone the whole summer. We were going to take off and travel for the summer. And instead, we're all stuck here together like sardines in a can. And tensions arise. And those tensions had been building up a bit, yet through doing, I think it was the best timing ever to have done ITT at this particular juncture. A couple of friends of mine that I spoke with about, hey, are you going to do this? Folks who weren't in Odyssey, but I knew from years and years back. I said, hey, this seems like a super win, and it's right here. And oh, I've got too much on my plate. And it's so stressful right now with this pandemic and this quarantine. I just don't know if I could add any more to my plate and not have any more stress. It's like, well, my experience is this was the best thing ever for counteracting that stress and getting to some of the core issues that were actually kind of creating stress, at least in my household. And last night, I didn't have any breakthroughs during ITT. Yeah, what did we end, like 2 weeks ago or something? I didn't have any breakthroughs. I had insights, I had growth, just steady, like a flowing stream of insights and growth. And I so enjoyed connecting with my buddy and the small group and some of the others in our cadre, our ITT #1 cadre. So just last night, like 2 weeks after the ITT program ended, we had a family meeting, and breakthrough happened there 2 weeks after the program ends. I had thought that my breakthroughs, at least the areas that I had been looking forward to some breakthrough on, were more like authorship and career, creativity, and those sorts of things. And I've been having all sorts of insights and growth all throughout the program, and it's been wonderful and everything, but no real breakthroughs in that. Instead, it was in the area of family, in relationship, and the opening up and the connection that happened there. And I've been waiting, frankly, for years for it to happen with my son-in-law. And voila, there it is. And I'm realizing that some of the stuckness that I've been having, like with writer's block and so on, is not really because of anything about what I'm writing. It's because I've been so preoccupied and worrying about family matters. And so having this wonderful breakthrough with the family has sort of cleared that out of the way and allowed the flow to come through with the writing. And this morning, I'm, tapping away like mad. The writing is moving again.
Ah, that's beautiful. That's so wonderful to hear. I can remember you working on issues with your family within ITT.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like it was kind of simmering for you, and you were in discovery about it. And probably all along the way, you were making internal progress, and then it blossomed last night. So mm-hmm. that's wonderful to hear.
Thank you.
If you could dissect it a little bit within yourself, mm-hmm. what would you say shifted?
That's a good question. Probably, even though I frankly don't quite agree with the perspective that you and Landon have presented about the ego and the survival context. I've faithfully done the exercises to the best of my ability. I'm the world's most horrible meditator, but I've done the exercises, and I've been doing the work, and coming at it with an open mind, as much of a beginner's mind as I can step up to. And probably I would say that not being so ego attached, not having, not being thrown into a sense of being attacked or having my survival threatened in some way by disagreement or a rejection or a distance, any of that sort of stuff, but just simply accepting the other person's where they are, and continuing to be as grounded and centered and genuinely, authentically offering what I can offer to them. And it's a gift, and you can choose to accept the gift, or you can choose to walk on by. And for some reason or other, this time they chose to accept it. And that's wonderful. So probably getting my bloated nothingness out of the way somewhat, as I think it was Emerson talked about, Ralph Waldo Emerson. If you can get your bloated nothingness, your ego, out of the way, then that allows a flow of something more numinous to come through. And I think that's perhaps what happened.
Mm. It's very powerful. And it's a testament to your openness and your willingness to just kind of slowly but surely keep an open mind and keep, to some extent, practicing what you were learning. And, I think it's great because we're used to most people just outright agreeing with us on all of this stuff, we try to make as compelling a case as we can. But I think this is powerful that there may be pieces of it or even at some core level that you question, but by being open and doing the work, some of it was able to be integrated into your thinking and your being. And there it was, when you needed it most, you could have that stability to just withstand whatever was going on and not be, not crumble underneath it. Or not create opposition. So that's wonderful.
Well, I'm mystified by people who say they want change. They say they want relationships. They say they want money. They say they want advancement in their career, whatever the area is that they want growth in. And they persist in doing the exact same thing over and over again. They don't try something different. How do you expect it to be any different if you don't do something different? If you can't do something different, you're not going to be any different. You're not going to have any different results. So this was different, and I've got different results. And I'm not surprised that these results are good results. They're better results. Some people will do something different, like say crystal meth, and they might feel really good, but for a while, but it destroys their life. It destroys their finances, their health, their relationships, their career, everything, for what? For feeling good for a little while. I think it's worth it to go through discomfort and risk because what could have happened last night at the family meeting is it could have been the most harsh rejection ever. It could have been just a horrible slapdown of, you deluded old man, you doddering fool. How dare you have the presumption to, no. But I think that I would have been okay. I think if that had happened, I would have said, well, I've offered the gift. The gift has not been accepted. I will continue to love them, and maybe someday. But instead, the gift was accepted. The point is, though, that I did something different and the outcome was a good outcome. People can choose to do something different, like take the same amount of money that I spent on ITT and buy crystal meth with it or whatever. They could feel a whole lot better, probably, be a whole lot less work for a little while, but they would have disastrous results. You know, you can't get different results without doing something different. And I would suggest that people choose wisely with their method.
Yes, I think that's wise counsel. Well, yeah, and you know, you talk about doing different. I would suggest you were being different. You know, in the sense of where you were coming from was a different perspective. So I think probably it really blossomed last night. I would imagine you've been making progress on that for a while, and it was building on itself. So now, of course, it's about keeping that going for yourself, and I know you have that commitment. So when you look back at ITT, Stephen, what would you say about the format of it that you found attractive and you think works for people? You already mentioned about the small groups in particular. Can you give people kind of a sense of the kind of perpetual motion of the course over 12 weeks and how it builds on itself?
Sure, I can give it a stab. Folks initially get to introduce themselves to one another and begin to have a sense of one another, at least the image that they wish to present to one another initially. Sometimes people present a bit of a mask and they're not even aware that they're presenting a mask rather than, you know, the person underneath that mask. And I felt a lot of connection almost immediately with some folks and with some others because of a lot of life experience and having had experiences with some of the other folks that I felt like I recognized the sort of archetype in the room. It was like a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair. I thought, oh dear, oh dear. And yet those folks are always an opportunity for growth too, as I observe myself interacting and reacting around them. So we get to know our shipmates on the voyage, as it were. And then the other presenter, Landon Carter, a tremendously experienced coach, and yourself, likewise tremendously experienced, serve as guides, as facilitators, as pilots for the vessel as we chart our way through those waters together. And we have a couple of excellent guidebooks in that process. Where are they? I have a couple of copies here. Here they are. Living Awake by Landon Carter, and Full Tilt Boogie by John Hanley Jr. And excellent guidebooks they are. And there are exercises, chapter by chapter, some of which were like a snap, like falling off a log. Others I have not been successful yet, not one time in actually doing them, but that I'm experiencing growth through, you know, giving it the effort. And we'll see, maybe someday I'll actually be successful in doing a couple of those. And we meet once a week and have about an hour and a half, it's usually been, I think, on average, session, some exercises like closed eye, guided visualization exercises, but largely didactic, largely presenting material, and then taking questions and working with people as they bring up questions and sort of real life specific examples of but and what if and if then, you know, that sort of thing. And most of the folks are much more extroverted than I am, and some of them are extroverts on steroids, and love to jump in there and grab that microphone and have at it. And it's always productive for me because I'm usually having the exact same questions and the exact same issues, but just not so motivated to grab that microphone and have the camera focusing on me. However, the medium that I am most comfortable with is writing. And so a couple of times with the entire group and pretty much every other week or so with my small group, I would write my thoughts up in the form of an email, sometimes attaching some links to articles, some pictures, some other resources, and send the email off. And as usual, some folks accepted it as a gift, and some got stirred up and it stroked them, across the grain. But that's my way of being involved in a way that I was comfortable with. One thing that I was surprised with, because I remember back from the 80s and the 90s, in the early days of the development of the human potentials movement, the gestalt could be pretty high. And the trainers could be fairly high gestalt, fairly astringent. And sometimes people would be like reduced to tears by a trainer barking in their face and so on. And I honestly expected that in this. It wasn't present in the Odyssey workshop. And I thought, well, that's because the Odyssey workshop, has a lower gradient, the steepness of that is lower. This is going to be higher. This is going to be more like the advanced workshop. And in the advanced workshop, there's usually somebody screaming in your face at some point. And that just didn't happen. Things have gotten a lot nicer. Things have gotten a lot more mellow and gentle and thoughtful and courteous over the decades. And, while some people, maybe it takes a 2x4 between the eyes applied repeatedly and forcefully to get them to wake up, I think most people, that's not particularly productive with them. And so I appreciate that it's a kinder, gentler approach now than it was back in the day.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for that wonderful overview of the entire program. And for those of you that are listening, I think you can hear from Stephen that ITT is designed in such a way that just about anybody, different personalities, different interests, different backgrounds, can find a way to benefit from it as long as they're open and willing to put in the work. So if any of this conversation resonates with you, we certainly invite you to jump into the next Odyssey. That's your first step to getting into the 3-month ITT program. And you'll be on your way to integrating transformation into your life. So Stephen, thank you so much for your time. Sure. And for being so articulate.
May I add one thing here, John?
Yeah.
It was so great. ITT was so great. And the friendships that I've established with Vasco in Peru, with Michelle in upstate New York, with Ashley in Colorado are so genuine and so deep that we have committed. We are looking forward to traveling on the far side of this whole pandemic craziness. We're looking forward to traveling probably once each year. We're going to all go to Peru. We're going to all go to New York. We're going to all go to Colorado. We're going to all go to either Alaska, where I am right now, or my other place on the big island of Hawaii, and get together and enjoy some time together, visit with one another and really connect, and you bring the spouses, bring the kids, the grandkids, and I'm sure that there will be some friendships and connections. I'm looking forward to my grandsons and Vasco's kids getting to know each other and, going skin diving on the coast there together and so on. There's all sorts of wonderful connections that yet lay ahead for me that I'm sure are coming straight out of choosing to risk and choosing to invest the time and the resources. And, you get out of it what you put into it. It's a matter of participation. And I'm so glad I chose to participate in this. And I'm so thankful to you and Landon for really, honestly, this is the culmination of your life's work. This is your gift to us, and it's heartfelt. I really feel it. Thank you, John.
Thank you so much, sir. You're beautiful and a beautiful friend. So again, everyone watching this, I hope you take to heart what Stephen's talking about, and from Landon and I's perspective, it's humbling, and we're just so glad we could have been a somewhat, I don't want to say a small part, but a part of this. And the fact that you guys are going to carry this on for the rest of your lives, I mean, nothing could be more beautiful to hear. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, John.
All right. Take care, my friend.